Welcome to our Operation Greatness podcast number 45. This is Parasite Cleansed, becoming Parasite Cleansed to be more exact. When you hear those words, Parasite Cleansed, what comes to mind for you? Do you, like my marketing strategist, I was meeting with him yesterday and talking with him about my new website, which is parasitecleansed.com. And he's not really into it because for him, he thinks of like parasites in the gut. And yet he recognizes the more broad use of that word, parasites, to include the parasites that had poisoned your mind and programmed you for scarcity, fear, lack consciousness. That's approaching what we're talking about here by becoming parasite cleansed. So let me give you an early context for what that word parasite has meant in my life. Okay, so this was, let's say, December, not of last year, of 2024. I think it was December of 2023. I I stayed for, oh, how long was that? I guess that was no, it was 9 nights in the Hyatt at the edge of uptown Sedona. And it was, so it was, like a very luxurious resort in a one bedroom. Actually, was it two bedrooms? No, I guess it was one bedroom. Well, okay, once, yeah, part of it was it? I don't know. Maybe it was two bedrooms. I don't know. It was. I guess it was one bedroom. Anyway, I was staying in a nice place, and it was I think 350 a night. I guess. And anyway, that's right. One of them. The second, I was two units. It was for 7 nights in a one bedroom unit, and then the 2 nights was in a lock off one bedroom man, that was two bedroom. So maybe it was all two bedroom. I don't know. I forgot anyway. I Anyway, the second one was a lock off studio and the one bedroom unit. So, but anyway, so I guess that was a two bedroom unit. And I was anyway, so every day I was walking in uptown Sedona, which is the shopping district. It's like the downtown, but they call it uptown in Sedona. It's kind of like a charming mountain village, uptown area. And as I was walking one day, afternoon, I think it was, in this shopping area, and I'm seeing all the new signs there because I moved to Sedona in July of 1999. And so I've known, the stores come and go, and it's interesting every year to go up there and see what's new there. Most of the locals don't go in the uptown area unless they're showing their family, their friends, tourists coming in, like people visiting us. Then we take them to uptown because everybody wants to see the downtown area, which is, that's an interesting perspective shift where when up becomes down and down becomes up. I mean, that's probably in 1984, the George Orwellian, everything becomes out of perspective. Good becomes evil and evil becomes good. And all of that is part of the manipulation by the parasites. So you understand what I mean by parasites, right? I mean, they're predators, to be more exact. They're parasites to me. They just like suck on the life force that they that the systems of control, abuse, farming had been doing to our human family, keeping us oblivious of our power, which is beyond measure. I'm getting chills here just seeing this awakening more within you. I mean, I see you as the fulfillment. I'm getting chills here. I see you as the fulfillment of your divine design, duty, destiny, dharma. I see the perfected vision of you. I see you, I experience you that way right here, now, where you have dedicated yourself to to being of greater service to more people. You are God's gift to the world, so be it. And I see you living your life that way, not holding back at all anymore, ever again from this moment now moving forward in your life. I see you as having achieved your potential. I see you as having, I mean, right here in this Operation Greatness podcast number 45, Parasite Cleansed, becoming Parasite Cleansed, I see you as already having fulfilled your reason for being and honoring it and living your potential, like right here, where you're, I mean, already start this, like go back to the beginning of this podcast, this action podcast number 45, and pause and reflect on each of the points that you're hearing and seeing, like, wow, is this true? Wow, they're parasites and they're the ones who created the systems of control, abuse, manipulation, disempowerment, distraction, division. And then, okay, what systems is he talking about? Is he talking about the mainstream media? Well, yeah, obviously. How was that, meaning before I, meaning you, before you stepped up and owned your power and began commanding your destiny? How were these systems meant to distract people, like the dumbing device? I mean, that's the prime example now in social media, in conjunction, like on the dumbing device, where you develop myopic vision, which means your whole world becomes this little 3-inch screen. And then anything outside of that, I mean, so really look at the systems of abuse, control, feeding off the human farm. And we are so much more than that. And now we stepped into our power and we freed humanity from the matrix, and we freed the matrix from our minds. That, I mean, just contemplating that, like, wow, okay, so the mainstream media was a system of control, abuse, feeding off the fear, doubt, worry, scarcity, lack, division that was all manipulated and artificially created. I mean, you know the Matrix. So go to freeingthematrix.com. Join us in our freeingthematrix.com mastermind if you're not already part of it. Join us at parasitecleansed.com, because you're going to need to do your parasite cleanse yourself. And we're all doing that right here. It's through our freeingthematrix.com mastermind. It's a separate course or area in our freeingthematrix.com mastermind. Look under classes and you'll see Parasite Cleansed or Becoming Parasite Cleansed right there. And yet you can go there directly through parasitecleansed.com and you'll get a very eye-opening, I think it's 24-minute video. I think I have to change it. I thought it was 26 minutes, and yet I put it in there yesterday. And well, so so going back to the story that I was sharing, So I've been focusing on this. Well, I mean, when did you have your wake awakening to what I call fraud 1.0, which is really the attempted totalitarian takeover by the parasites? They call themselves the elites because they think that they are superior and that we're just like farm animals, like sheep, and we're being moved to slaughter. And yet, I mean, they've created these systems of power over our human family for thousands of years, thousands. And I want you to see that because this is part of you awakening to all of this fraud, manipulation, abuse, because we're not sheep to be slaughtered or to be, shaved our fur for they were feeding off of us for thousands of years, and it's time now humanity has reached that transcendent moment whereby every one of us right here becoming parasite cleansed. And so by you leading every one of your online friends through joining us in our freeingthematrix.com mastermind and transforming the lives of everyone you are blessed to be able to serve, this is the higher purpose of your life. I mean, for example, by you, well, let me show you. If you're watching this video, that means you're leading your own Operation Greatness chapter in your community as well as among all your online friends. Then, so I'm going to switch the slide here. If you're watching the video, then go to, well, no, I'm getting the wrong slides here. Okay, so here, is it right here? Yeah, it's right here. This is freeingthematrix.com, freeingthematrix.com slash free hyphen month if you're interested. And anyway, join us in humanity's unifying manifestation through freeingthematrix.com. You'll see this graphic there. I'm looking at it on the video. If you're doing the video, that means you're leading your own Operation Greatness chapter, and that's how you're having by far the greatest impact, except not necessarily because these two go hand in hand. When you go to freeingthematrix.com and when you join us in our freeingthematrix.com mastermind, then go to the courses page. Let me show you that here. Well, I guess I don't need to do that. Anyway, you'll see one course is Operation Greatness, leading your own Operation Greatness chapter, and the other course is our Becoming Parasite Cleansed. Do both of those. I think doing the Parasite Cleanse, becoming Parasite Cleansed yourself is more important because that's the rite of passage. That's something that every one of us needs to do at some point, and yet to be aware that our power is beyond measure. Together, we've helped 1.72 billion people become free and very wealthy, living their dharma through freeingthematrix.com and Operation Greatness. This is the greatest thing we've ever done. This is the higher purpose of our lives. So I've been aware of this, what I call the attempted totalitarian takeover, since 2 or 3 weeks after it began in March of 2020. I mean, I remember very clearly, so I'm asking you to think about when was it that you had your awakening? So, like, I was dating this doctor, and she was becoming really stressed because she saw we had a friend. I mean, I met this friend of hers who became my friend as well, who does family constellation. And this friend was going to speak at a conference in Australia. And, remember like Australia had lockdowns, I think, before we did. And they had wildfires, I think, at that time. maybe it was later. I don't know, but I remember like we kind of saw this. It was kind of like it was really like, the Lord of the Rings, like this darkness is descending upon Middle Earth, and we can see the signs of this coming. I mean, this was like the plague coming, fraud 1.0, the attempted totalitarian takeover was looming, and it was heaviness on this doctor because she saw this coming and she wanted she and I to go to Australia together when she was going to go there for this conference, or I think she was, anyway. And yet this was looming on us, and it was such a weight on her as a doctor because she saw that this was coming and she felt it because, they're saying like all these millions of people are going to get this pretend virus. And it was really all just setting up it was the psyop, the psychological warfare against humanity. And anyway, I mean, this was okay, so that was when I had my awakening because this friend of ours was a conspiracy theorist and she worked really hard diligently to get me to see what was happening, to remove the veil. And what does veil mean? A veil means evil, right? And to get me to see what was really happening, to come out of the darkness and into the light. And so anyway, I mean, this was years later. I've been aware of this since her, and thank you for helping me see the light. And so anyway, years later, I'm walking in uptown Sedona every day for my morning or my afternoon hike, whatever, my daily hikes, my daily foray into nature to some extent, but that was more of a downtown area, uptown Sedona. Anyway, and I'm even recording a video as I'm walking on my daily personal growth meditation walks, and I'm recording a video. I'm sharing what's happening in the world with people, helping them liberate themselves. And I'm walking and I'm like, "What? I thought the sign said donuts, coffee, and parasites." What? Are you kidding me? Parasites? And I look again, and I remember I'm recording a video here, and I'm looking up again, and it says pastries. The word parasites had gotten into my conscious mind from my subconscious mind, and that was like, wow, I guess I'm a little too close here. I guess I'm a little too taken out of my center here. I thought it said parasites. I thought the sign over my head for a coffee shop said parasites. It said pastries. So that showed me that I was off my perch, off my center. I was moved out of focus. I was more giving my power to the programming. Notice how anyway, the systems of control, they work both sides because they're feeding off of fear. They're creating division. They're creating an artificial enemy to divert our attention. Like they always say, follow the money. It's not as easily delineated as if you're a Democrat, then you're a communist, then you're supporting evil. It's not quite as cut and dry as that because instead, follow the money, follow the, like in the, I don't even know if you can say those words because you might get all of a sudden deplatformed again, or you'll be if you're shown to be someone who cares about humanity, let's just put it this way, because, well, let me just show you. I'll show you this right here. So let's go to my Twitter page, X, quote unquote, And let's see the current total. I'll do a refresh on the page here. If you're watching the video, you're seeing me showing you this live. So like I had before 183.9 thousand people. Now it's 183.8, and it's 183,800 and is that a 64 people. And it's been, I should have been over 184,000 by now, and yet, well, let's just say I don't know if X is removing the bots, or if they're, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's just all imagination. It it's been 183.8 or point 0.9 thousand people for a couple of weeks now. It should have easily been over 184,000 by now, but maybe they're doing something, because let me just show you, even though X promotes itself as the free speech platform, what is the truth? I mean, like this post from from 14 hours ago, it was, well, it shows me, well, notice this. Let's look at the numbers here. Okay, so 183,864 people. If I were oppressed, if the oppression level for me as somebody who's liberating humanity as my life mission and my unwavering, undying focus, if I were oppressed, if my oppression level for me was at 99%, that would mean 100, that would mean 1,838 people would see my post, right? 1,838 people would be 1% of 180,864 people. So if 1,838 people were seeing my post, that means 99% of my people, of my followers who asked to see what I'm sharing, would have been oppressed, right? So this post here is getting 3,800. Let's see how many exactly. 3,834 people have seen this post in the last 14 hours. And really, it's most likely within the first 10 minutes, most of the people will have seen my posts. And so 24 hours doesn't mean that much. It's like, yeah, 10 minutes, and then it shoots way down in terms of visibility. So 1,838 is what? 1,800 would be like half of 3,600, right? So this is like 3,834 is a little more than 3,600, which is a little, I mean, so it's like about 98% of my people were oppressed in my pin post. 98%, so that's actually pretty low, because let's go lower than that. I mean, let's go see your earlier post or other post. Like, wow, really? 46 minutes ago, I posted about our podcast, and 4 people have seen that post? Really? I mean, are you kidding me? Is that right? Oh, now it's 5. So it really was 4 people. And I mean, that's like, okay, well, let's look below that. Really? Are you kidding me? 3 hours ago, my morning post where I said, Grand Rising, my friend, purge evil. I want you to do this yourself right here. Purge evil from your life, stopping the poisons, removing the self imposed shackles, knowing your worth. You matter so much more than you can ever even comprehend, just as your power is so much greater than you can ever even know. Know your worth, your power, your light. Shine your light. Shine the light you are today. as brightly as the sun. Have you become parasite cleansed yet? That's at parasitecleansed.com. So I shared that 3 hours ago, and it should be, if it were, well, let's just say if the oppression level were only 99%, excuse me, then it would be 1,838 people. It was four people. Four people saw that post in the last 3 hours. So if it were 184 people, that would be a 99.9% oppression level. So it's off the charts, the oppression level, even on the free speech platform. Let's see what this one here from 14 hours ago, from last night, someone was basically saying she's frustrated because of her fighting for freedom, fighting for America, and yet people seem to distance themselves from her. Is it worth it? And she was getting tired of this. And I sympathized with her. I wrote to my, I shared her post, and then I said to my 183,800 and some people, my friend, read this. You know how pervasive evil has become. You know what's now required of every one of us to stop it. You know each of us has the power to stop it ourselves and lead everyone connected with us through stopping it and getting all their friends joining us in stopping it. You know this is the work we're all on the planet to do, and it's absolutely the higher purpose of every one of our lives, as well as social media itself. We're all doing this by becoming part of the freeingthematrix.com mastermind and leading, inspiring, transforming, and liberating all our online friends as they're doing a little more today in being of greater service to all their friends, because this is humanity's liberation we're all creating together. So then I'm talking about her post. I'm just sharing that she was frustrated and sick of this and kind of like wondering, why am I working so tirelessly to free humanity when does humanity really want to be free? I mean, that's an important question. I mean, yes, we give lip service. We say we want to be free, but are we doing the work to free ourselves? Well, you and I are doing the work through becoming parasite cleansed at parasitecleansed.com. We're doing the work required of every one of us. Yes, we are. You and I are, and you right here in our through this Operation Greatness podcast number 45, you're leading, inspiring, transforming, and liberating all your online friends. You have become part of our freeingthematrix.com mastermind, and you've gotten your invite people link, and you're adding that to all the posts that you're making right here. In other words, you've gone back to the beginning and you've paused and reflected on each point, and then you're relating that to your own life, and you're sharing your thoughts as the leader, the inspired visionary leader you are of all your online friends. And I hope you're also leading your own Operation Greatness chapter in your community, where we're going through each of our Operation Greatness chapter meetings together, like in your chapter meeting every day at 7 p.m. your time. And we're all meeting in our freeingthematrix.com mastermind or Operation Greatness Private Wealth Alliance, even more specifically, where you're doing the videos of our chapter meetings, our Operation Greatness podcasts, and we're all talking about them. We're all sharing. You're sharing all the posts you're making. I'm sharing all the posts I'm making. And every one of us is serving and supporting each other at the highest level. And then I hope you've also become parasite cleansed. How does that feel? You know, this is the work of every one of us, right? We're required to do this because we're saying no to evil and we're saying yes to our human family. We're all coming back together as our human family. So let's just read this together to make sure that we have this in our awareness and in our hearts and in our focus. What does it mean to become parasite cleansed? The system of the world, the systems of the world, the plural, the systems of the world, like the government, like the mainstream media, like our schools, like well, our music, our movies, our TV. Did you know that TV and the screen itself, any of these screens, they're military weapons and they've been incorporated into our lives to control us. That's how serious it is. And that's what you're recognizing by becoming parasite cleansed. That's why I say this is the rite of passage. And did you know caffeine? Like tea and coffee were introduced to control us as well. Who invented the custom of drinking tea? The royals, right? The royals. This was back in 1610 because they discovered that caffeine, people who are addicted to caffeine, who drink caffeine all day, what they're doing is they're becoming passive. They're becoming compliant. They're becoming easily controlled. Yes, caffeine. Yes, black tea. I mean, I like chai tea. I was almost horrified to learn this myself when I had my awakening to the level of control of evil of these systems of the parasites. This is part of your parasite cleansing. Becoming parasite cleansed means giving up caffeine. Yes, it's true. And giving up all of the poisons, like you don't use fluoride in your water, do you? You use a source of water that's not part of the systems of evil, right? I mean, I'm sincere about this. You're not drinking the city water, right? Where they add the poisons to keep you subdued, to keep you compliant, to keep you consuming the poisons so that you're not a threat, you're not resisting the parasites feeding off of our human family. You're not awakening to your power, right? Because that would threaten their control. No, you must become parasite cleansed. Do you see how imperative this is as your rite of passage that every human must do to become sovereign and free? And say this mantra over and over again. I am sovereign. I am free. This is my duty, my destiny. I am sovereign. I am free. This is my duty, my destiny. I am sovereign. I am free. This is my duty, my destiny. And you'll get chills like this when you're feeling it yourself. You are sovereign. You are free. This is your duty, your destiny. And you are here to lead, inspire, transform, and liberate every one of your online friends. Everyone you are blessed to serve, you are liberating them. You are transforming their lives. You are that inspired visionary leader the world needs now. What's that song? What the world needs now is love, sweet love. And you're freeing our humanity from the parasites and their control. You're helping them out of the suffering that they created themselves. Think of it, what is parasite cleansed? Think of it as, you know, the yin and yang symbol that's half black and half white, and they work in harmony when they're both in balance, and yet when the systems of oppression become the enforcers, the parasites, the controllers, when they become greedy, when they become self-absorbed and obsessed, and they overstep their line. I mean, think of it like to me, that's just such a great visual. The Lord of the Rings, when you see like this like a cold front, but it's darkness, it's evil, it's just like this evil force or spirit. That's what we've seen since March 2020. I mean, that I mentioned like this doctor I was dating, And she was just getting all of this stress and weight, and she was kind of snapping at me and being sort of unloving and impatient with me. And because of all the pressure of that looming darkness that she was seeing coming on our shores, coming into the world, it's up to every one of us to get out of it, to come into our power and to come back into the light and to lead, inspire, transform, and liberate everyone connected with us, our whole human family. This is what we're doing through freeingthematrix.com and especially our Parasite Cleanse and becoming Parasite Cleansed. Every one of us freeing ourselves from how pervasive evil had become. This is why this is required of every one of us. So make sure that you're joining us in becoming Parasite Cleansed yourself, and then you are that inspired visionary leader of everyone in your local community through Operation Greatness, leading your Operation Greatness chapter and being the example of you're being the example of what's possible for every one of us. This is the work required of every one of us because well, let me just read this to you. The systems of the world were created by the parasites, evil, feeding off people's fear, hate, anger, suffering. We must all of us, do the work and purge the debilitating scarcity, fear, lack programming. Stop the further poisoning of our minds, bodies, and souls. This is the rite of passage every one of us must go through. So we're becoming parasite cleansed now through ParasiteCleansed.com and the FreeingTheMatrix.com mastermind because this is how we are becoming free. This is the work every one of us is responsible for doing. This is your duty to do yourself and to lead, inspire, transform, and liberate, doing a little, L-I-T-L, a little more today in being of greater service to more people. This is your duty, your destiny. I am sovereign, I am free. This is my duty, my destiny. You are sovereign, you are free. This is your duty. This is your gift. This is your responsibility. This is your blessing to do. This is your destiny to do. As the example of what's possible for every one of us. Becoming sovereign, becoming free, becoming parasite cleansed. This is your duty. This is your responsibility. This is your gift to do. You are God's gift to the world, after all. So, how are you responding to all of this? So, if you haven't been doing this since the beginning of this Operation Greatness podcast number 45, Becoming Parasite Cleansed, then do this now. Go back to the beginning, pause, and think about your thoughts on each of these points, and then share your thoughts as separate posts among all of your social media platforms and use your invite people link that you got once you joined us in our freeingthematrix.com mastermind. In all of your posts, use your invite people link because you're getting all of your online friends to join us in our freeingthematrix.com mastermind, and then they are doing our parasite cleanse. They also are becoming parasite cleansed, and they're also leading their own Operation Greatness chapters among all of their online friends and in their local communities, their local areas. This is humanity liberating humanity. All of us serving and supporting each other, saying no to the parasites when they're no longer able to feed off of us because we are standing in our power, we're owning our power, we are commanding our destiny. We're not food for them anymore. So what does a parasite do when the host says no and rejects them? They drop off and they die or they go somewhere else. They move on. we're ordering them, we are commanding the parasites to move on. We're purging them, we're purging evil from our lives. You, my friend, are the leader the world has needed. You've known since you were what? How old were you when you first knew I'm here for something important? I have an important role to play, a mission to achieve, and you probably didn't know what that was. I'm getting chills here. Just seeing that in you, you probably didn't know what your higher purpose was, that deeper meaning of your life that you just knew, I'm here to do something big. I have greatness within me. And you probably forgot about that because you were distracted by these systems of oppression and control and abuse. You lost sight of what truly matters. You lost sight of your power. You played small, you limited yourself, you held back because of fear. No more. No more. Now you're connecting with yourself, your power, your purpose, your mission in life. You're reconnected with God. That power within you is reignited, and you're shining your light so much more brightly right now than you maybe ever have before. And you're no longer restricting your power, constricting your gift that you are here to share with the world because you are God's gift to the world. Now you're owning that. Now you're giving that gift. Now you're shining your light, yes, as brightly as the sun, because you're dispelling the darkness everywhere it still remains. And you're making sure that's nowhere anymore in our planet because you are the caretaker for the earth. You are God's gift to the world. So be it. By you giving your attention to that, by you leading, inspiring, transforming, and liberating everyone you are blessed to be able to serve, no one left behind. You're transforming the lives of every one of your online friends, and they're transforming the lives of every one of their online friends. That's how together we have transformed the lives of 1.2 billion people. Our power is beyond measure. Together, we've helped 1.72 billion people, 1.72 billion people, not 1.2 billion, like I said. Our power is beyond measure. Together, we've helped 1.72 billion people become very wealthy, living their Dharma through freeingthematrix.com and Operation Greatness. This is the greatest thing we've ever done in the higher purpose of our lives. This is your gift to the world. And that 1.72 billion people, that's why I said 1.2, because I was thinking about just by you right here leading, inspiring, transforming, and liberating 1,200 of your online friends doing a little more today and being of greater service, your 1,200 people joining us in our freeingthematrix.com mastermind who are getting their 1,200 people. You, my friend, have transformed the lives of no, that would be 1,440,000 people. Yes, you. That is how much you matter. That is how much better the earth is because you lived. That is that something greater for you. You've known there was something, there's so much more for you, and you felt that there was greatness within you, that you're here for something big, something huge to contribute to the world. This is it. This is the higher purpose of your life. You intuitively know that, you feel that, you sense that, you trust that, and now you're living that. Now you're creating that. Now you're allowing that. You're flowing with that, the currency of life. You're feeling that this is really the presence of God within you. You're saying yes to it, yes to life, and that fire within you, the presence of God, the Holy Spirit, that spark of divinity that has always been there every moment of your life. Now you're connected with that. Now you're feeling that. Now you're cranking up the heat of that fire and you're seeing that, you're feeling it. You're so much more present. You're so much more connected. You're here now and you're connected with the fire, the presence of God within you. And this is burning through all of the scarcity, fear, lack programming because this is your parasite cleanse has already begun. You have already begun to be parasite cleansed. And we are in ceremony, by the way. We started the ceremony this morning. And I created some videos about the ceremony that you're doing as part of you becoming parasite cleansed. And we're doing that in our Parasite Cleanse through ParasiteCleansed.com, through our freeingthematrix.com mastermind. Anyway, this has begun for you, and you're feeling that, and you're that fire within you. This is the fires of freedom. This is the Holy Spirit of God, or the presence of God, is burning through all of the scarcity, fear, lack programming. Anything that was imposed on you by evil, by the systems of control, oppression, all of that is burning now, and it's burning. It's the transmuting from lower vibration, or the vibration or frequency or consciousness of scarcity, fear, lack, or evil or oppression. All of that is burning, and it's transmuting into pure light, the light of God, the presence of God. And you're feeling that happening right now. And that is, you're burning so much more brightly because you're burning purely, and you're raising your consciousness and your being of such greater service. And I'm getting chills here, feeling that, seeing that within you, because we're communing, we're connected, and you are that inspired visionary leader of everyone connected with you. So, how does this feel? How much more do you believe in yourself? How much more do you know you matter? Because you are God's gift to the world. And now you're being that. Now you're feeling that. Now you're living that. And you're standing up, and you're owning your power and commanding your destiny. I am sovereign. I am free. This is my duty, my destiny. This is my responsibility, and I'm living it. I'm owning it. I'm becoming parasite cleansed through parasitecleansed.com. And you're burning through everything that was holding you back and limiting you and causing you to play small because you were in fear, doubt, worry, scarcity, lack, consciousness. No more. All of that has been burned through you. Wow. How much more free are you now? How much more grand are you now? How much bigger are you? How much more present are you? How much more beautiful and loving is your presence, your consciousness, your being that has been raised so much because you have become reignited. You're owning your power now. You're determining your happiness, joy, fulfillment, well being, peace of mind, success, prosperity, meaning, impact, contribution, by how much more now you are being of greater service to more people. You're saying yes to life. You're saying yes to all the abundance, prosperity, love, well being, happiness, money. It is your gift to allow, to receive. You have to receive God before you can extend God. You have to receive love before you can extend love. You're saying yes to it all now. You're creating it all. You're allowing it all. You're receiving it all. How great is this moment for you right here now? And you're feeling the fires of freedom, the presence of God still burning through anything that was not for you. It was programmed and manipulated as part of the parasites and their systems that are crumbling even so much more now because of you taking this to heart, and you leading, inspiring, transforming, and liberating everyone connected with you right here through your invite people link that you got when you joined us in the freeingthematrix.com mastermind. And when you became parasite cleansed yourself, and you shared with everyone connected with you what that meant for you, and you transformed their lives at such a higher level, such a deeper recognition of who they are and the power that they have, which is beyond measure, as you're now starting to intuit at least how much more powerful you are because you're feeling it right now, right here. I want you to acknowledge all of this and take all the posts that you've made and put them into the essay that you're sending me. Send that to me personally at dan@danclatt.com, and then take that essay of all the posts that you made right here and post that in our freeingthematrix.com mastermind, especially for everyone who has become parasite cleansed. We're doing this together, and we're living at such a higher level, make sure you're doing all of the special private videos that we're doing in Parasite Cleansed and that part of our freeingthematrix.com mastermind. And if you're also Operation Greatness leading your own chapter, then we're doing so much more there as well in that special private community, even our private wealth alliance. There's so much here for you. So receive it all, contribute meaningfully to it all. I am sovereign. I am free. This is my duty, my destiny. I'm so touched, humbled, moved, inspired by the person you have become already right here. How much has it meant to you already to become parasite cleansed? How much more powerful are you? How much more awake are you? How much more aware are you of how much, well, of how unlimited your power is? How much more connected with you are you with your power, with your purpose, with God, with the currency of life, with our human family, with the earth? What has all of this meant to you? What was most important for you in all of this that we have already done right here? And great work, by the way. I'd like to pat you on your back or just give you a big hug and say, wow, look at how radiant you are. Look at how magnificent you are. Look at how much you're shining your light. You're shining your light as brightly as the sun, not holding back or limiting yourself in any way ever again. You are the consciousness keeper. If you're joining us in leading your own Operation Greatness chapter, you're also a consciousness keeper where at the top of the hour, we're getting together spiritually, you might say, we're tapping into collective consciousness and we're coming back into our power. If we ever lose any step from being in our center, in our power, in our communion, right here now, we're coming back every hour. Something that's available to you if you're interested. I mean, you don't have to do it every hour, but I hope you do it every day, maybe in the morning and at night and while you're eating. I think if you set your reminder to tap into collective consciousness, if you're a consciousness keeper, you are a consciousness keeper. You're that rising tide raising all boats in collective consciousness. You are here for that so much more. And now you recognize what that is because this is the higher purpose of your life, the greatest thing every one of us has ever done. So, what was most meaningful for you here? Add that to the essay you're sending me, dan@danclatt.com, and make sure that you are parasite cleansed, parasitecleansed.com, as part of our freeingthematrix.com mastermind. Wow. Look at you. Look at you. You're feeling it. You've absorbed all this. You've allowed all this. You have become so much more free. You become parasite cleansed. Wow. Now it's a matter of just keeping it here, eliminating all of the poisons from your life. That's that's not just daily work. That's in the moment. That's changing your whole life. I mean, I would love for you to take a before picture, like, show your whole body. Like, do you need to lose about, some weight? Is it 10 pounds? Is it 50 pounds? I don't know. And yet you're transforming right here. This is like your before picture, and then every week or yeah, probably every week, because then that'll be take a picture of yourself every week, like the same pose, like, you know, to show the transformation as you're getting in shape, as you're becoming in your best form, as you're no longer poisoning yourself. You're removing all that toxicity of the parasites. You're not giving them anything to feed anymore. And that's transforming everything. This is not just your physical body, the gross, it's also the astral, the lower astral, and you're moving out of the lower into the higher astral, if not also simultaneously the causal. And then even beyond that, you're so much brighter, lighter, happier, glowing, you're shining, you're radiant. And this is by far the best thing you've ever done, even right here. Is that right? Let me know in the post that you're making and the essay that you're sending me, Dan at danclatt.com. I'm just so moved and humbled and touched by the person you are. And now you're not holding that back anymore, ever again. And now you're liberated, you're free, and you're shining. Thank you. I love you. I believe in you. I know how much you matter. You know that too. And that's just so inspiring. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.